Welcome back to my channel. It's been a long hiatus after the whole summer. I didn't get another flight in with the Dolphin as I promised. I was just too busy with life getting things done. But we're back, and in this session we're going to try to clean up and do a little bit of catch up on the Dolphin. Not much left to do. If there's any questions, again, just post them below and I'll be sure to answer them. We're going to cover in this one a little bit of telemetry, show how the hardware was actually connected in that Dolphin, and some tips and tricks and how telemetry can best be used. We're going to look at the new wheels I put on the AtomRC Dolphin. I'm going to take off from terra firma the next time so I can get used to how fast that thing flies, and then maybe try an auto launch if I need to. Don't really need to because I have a field here. And we'll look at the new WalkSnail Avatar high-def VTX camera goggles, head motioning gear, and 3 or 4 test flights. And don't forget to watch the end of the video. There's some great scenes flying over the forest here in New Brunswick, and some good music with it too, I hope. There's links posted below the video at the bottom. Everything that you see in this video as far as hardware, I have a link to. The radio gear, the VTX equipment, batteries, stuff like that. So let's get right into it. Let's just take a look at the Dolphin as she sits with the new T90 motor that I received after I did the last video, video 5. All right, let's get to it. Got the new T motor installed in the back. You'll see a little bit of repair here where I had to cut the back end a little bit because I put connectors in there. If I ever have to take the motor out, I don't have to unsolder anything. I just pull the connectors off and I can take that motor right off. But it works real fine, that T motor. I like it. It runs cool. It's extremely powerful, much more than the stock motor on the airplane itself. As far as the rest of the plane, it's basically the same thing. I still have my old analog equipment in there. You'll see the VTX there, the TS5840. I still have the same flight controller. I love those flight controllers. The SpeedyBee F405 wing, easy, beautiful machine. I love it. So I'll have a link just below this video where that T motor can be obtained, and we'll get a look at the landing gear in just a little bit. Telemetry for the F405 wing, easy. On this side you've got the USB, which plugs into your computer. I'll take that out. On the other side, you've got the connector for telemetry out, and there may or may not be a cable included with that in your kit. You may have to order it. I've got a link in the description below this video where to buy that. And of course, the other part that you're sending the telemetry to is your receiver, because you want to be able to read that on your FrSky Taranis Qx7 or whatever transmitter you're using. And on the FrSky R9 SX, the one I'm using, long range, this is your telemetry or your smart port. The leftmost pin is ground. The second pin is power. We don't need that. The third pin from the left is your signal that you'll be sending from the F405 on that port to the telemetry port right here. Now, the cable is supplied with the R9 SX. They give you FrSky gives you a cable with that. It's a 6-pin cable. And if there's any questions, just put them in the video and I can help with that. All right, let's take a look at the telemetry coming through. This is the Taranis, and you'll see I'm in the R9 SX receiver source. And if we scroll down to all of our different sensors. Usually you only get 4 right here, and now we've got a whole 22 of them. And you see I haven't got my GPS plugged in, but you get 22 different sensors now. Okay. Just a little tip on telemetry that could help you find your aircraft if it ever went down in the woods, like happened to me once. And without the GPS coordinates, because I did not see it come down, I would not have been able to find it very easily. It was in the top of a maple tree, just sitting there like it had landed right side up. So what I did was I used the latitude, longitude coordinates from the GPS reading on my transmitter. Now on the Taranis, if you just hit this middle button here once, you'll go into the menu. Let me zoom in here a little bit. That will show page 1 of 12. Just do a long press on page, go back to 12 of 12, and then you'll see a display screen. Now these are the displays that your transmitter will show you of the telemetry coming back from the plane if you set it the proper way. And if you see right down here, I've got one called GPS. So that will show me when the plane is operating what my latitude and longitude is constantly on the Taranis screen. So let's just go back and take a look and see what that looks like when you're running. If you hit a long press, you'll see that the coordinates for latitude and longitude are right there. Now, you might say, well, if the plane goes down, it's either because of battery, no power. How is it going to transmit the latitude and longitude? Well, good old FrSky, whatever you might want to call them, did it right. You'll just watch this coordinate now. If I unplug the power to the aircraft, which means that the telemetry will stop coming.
Telemetry lost.
You'll see the Taranis keeps the location that it was at last. So this latitude-longitude coordination is not lost. It stays on your screen. So if your plane ever does go down, don't shut the transmitter off. You want to keep this latitude-longitude coordinate until you at least copy it. And then you'll be able to get very close to the aircraft. And what I did was I got close to the aircraft, and old-fashioned idea of, hey, make the servos operate if there's still battery. Usually there is. The receiver's probably still operating. And I could hear the servos, and I was very close to it. I was only about 70 feet from the aircraft, so I found the plane pretty quick. So just a good little tip. Another reason to use telemetry. I added landing gear to the Dolphin. As you can see here, that's the mains, just a aluminum Duro landing gear from an older plane I had. And I put foam wheels on there. They're really light. In the front, I've got a steering mechanism for front steering. So it's a tricycle landing gear. Works very well. I tried taxiing with it, and it works like a charm. And of course, this plane has no rudder as such. Now for the steering gear, what I did was I put that under the front hatch here. Right beside the battery, I've got, you'll see a servo right in here. Small servo, just a 9-gram servo. And I've got a push rod going forward. I don't know if you can see in there. Let me see. Yeah, I guess we can see it pretty good. You can see the push rod here. I'll move it. Just a little steering arm on the inside. An old I think it's an old Carl Goldberg unit I had in a box here for a long time. So anyway, that works pretty good. I can't wait to take off with that machine and see how it performs, especially on landing. It should be cool to watch that coming in a flare. The equipment on board, the F405 wing, Easy Fly by SpeedyBee. I built 7 flight controllers. This is my favorite. I built 7 different flight controllers. This is the king of them all. I don't do racing. I don't do that weird stuff. I'm just a friendly old guy flying fixed wing aircraft, taking pictures of animals and forests and all kinds of activities. There's a link in the video below where to buy this. On the transmitter side, I have, of course, my Taranis FrSky X7, Qx7. Very good radio, and in combination with the long distance R9 gear right here, this is very, very powerful. I'll give you an example where I was out 1.5 mile right here in my distance, and I was getting an RSSI of 60 at 1.5 miles. And this was a little bit foggy day back in August, I believe. This is the WalkSnail Avatar HD Goggles X. The best goggles I ever wore. I have about 3 or 4 pair, different ones. This is the best one I've ever seen. High def is just super. And again, I'm not a photographer aficionado. I'm just a regular guy flying, want a good picture, get good video feedback at a good long range. And as you see in that picture, at 1.5 miles, these things had no problem at all. And I was on 1200 milliwatts at that point. These goggles, of course, received from the WalkSnail Avatar HD Pro Kit. I bought the dual antenna one simply because I think you get a little bit more omni kind of signal coming. If one doesn't really kick in, the other one will, if you're turning the plane sideways or whatever. This is the Pro camera, very nice camera, very, very tiny, easy to install, and very, very nice unit. I'm very pleased with this whole thing. Now, for the goggles, to send the signal to the plane, telling it which way you're looking, if you turn your head to the left, this will send a signal to the Avatar HD Pro, which will in turn send a signal to the gimbal, and the camera is mounted right here. We'll see this in a few seconds when I go to the plane. I'll show you how I mounted it. You just remove the screws and the backing plate from the camera, remove the existing cable, and install the cable that connects this guy to the camera from the rear. This is also set on a suspension mounts, like a rubber shock absorber. Very nice unit. This is the Caddx XFPV GM3. And again, all of the links where to buy all of this gear is just below the video. The Goggles X have an accessory that you can get from WalkSnail for free, because Goggles X that I got anyway in May did not have the ability to have a head motion sensor detector send a signal to the VTX so that the camera can be turned when you turn your head, just like sitting in the aircraft. So this is just a little box that sits on top of the Goggles X. Got a sticky pad under it that you can just stick there. It sticks real good. And this, of course, is the AV in cable that goes around down to the bottom of the goggles at the AV in port. And the other one, of course, right here is the power. This is the power that is supplied from a cable that comes with it that I think it comes with the goggles actually. This I'm not sure now. It comes with one or the other anyway. That enables you to power the goggles and the unit on top with one battery. The battery I use is a SIG-P I get on Amazon. Very good battery. It's a 4S 2250 mAh. This will last all day in the goggles. It's an excellent battery. In fact, in the aircraft that I've been running lately, I just have two of these batteries hooked up in a fashion so that I can get double the mAh out of 4S. So I'm getting 4,500 mAh. And this is a pretty small little battery. Very good little battery. Okay, so that's the look at the Goggles X. And next we'll take a look at the installation on the wing that this unit sends a signal to enable you to turn your head and have the camera look where you're looking. This is the camera mounted on the GM3 gimbal. You'll see the camera's right here. It's sitting right in there and it can move up and down. It articulates like this. And of course, when it's looking forward, it's pointed this way. You just hit the button 3 times on your Goggles X and it will reset to the proper orientation that you've set it to last. Instructions are excellent with this Caddx gimbal, by the way. This allows you the gimbal to turn this way. It'll turn sideways like this. When you turn your head to the rear, the camera will point at the back of the plane and look directly at the tail of the plane. Or you're looking forward. That's connected to the VTX right here, which I got with the HD Pro kit. And I added the cherry red antenna that I got on AliExpress. There's a link below the video where to get these. They give a little bit better reception, I do think. Probably a little better quality antenna. So that's a look at the old, this is an old Apprentice aircraft that I bought off of a guy that had bought it a few years ago, crashed it a couple of times, didn't do it much damage, but got disappointed, and I bought it off of him as a test plane to test any new gear like the Caddx stuff that I buy. And I mounted the camera and the gimbal onto a little piece of plywood that I nicely painted up a nice bright red. And as you can see, this gimbal is sitting on a platform which is like a little shock absorber. You can press down, you can see the little rubber shocks right in there. It's all around on the gimbal. There's some on the front, both sides. It allows the gimbal to not shake too much, have too much shaking when it's flying. Great little unit, very tough. I ran this thing into the bushes a couple of times on trying to land on that narrow strip on the road that you saw in the video. And the camera was even wobbling for a while. It looked like it had the nervous twitch of some kind, but repowered it and it works just fine. This thing is a good piece of equipment, just like all WalkSnail Avatar equipment. Very good stuff to buy and enjoy.